Hi, my name's Dominique, and together with my team, we produce the content for our weekly Swisspreneur episodes. I hope you enjoyed today's show.
Bitcoin is not explained in a couple of words or within a couple of drinks even. It takes a lot of time.
Many drinks.
Many drinks.
Welcome to the Swisspreneur Show, a podcast about startup stories and hands-on learnings from experienced entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Sylvan.
Julian, a very well welcome to the Swisspreneur Show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you very much, Sylvan. I'm very happy to be here.
Let's look at your startup. You are the co-founder and CEO at Relai, a company that's on a mission to empower everyone to invest in Bitcoin. And I wonder, what was your personal motivation to actually start this company and get into the field of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, well, I've been into Bitcoin and crypto for quite some time now. Like 2015, I started with my first experimentations and stuff. So as you can imagine, in my kind of personal environment, I was always the Bitcoin dude, right? So if you had any question, you go to me and you ask, hey, Julian, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? I don't understand this. And a question that always came up was, where can I buy Bitcoin? Easily. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not, sophisticated or whatever. Just want to buy Bitcoin very easily. Where can I do this?
Right.
And I really had no satisfying answer for this. So, I for some good friends of mine, I did like this whole process. I went through the whole process with them. I set it all up, we sit down, we take a beer, and then we go through this, we open an account at an exchange for him. So, all the registration and so on. And then there was this verification process that you usually do. So you have to submit your personal information, email and everything. And then you have to send in all the documents. So, different documents like selfie with your ID and all that kind of stuff. And then it takes a couple of days or even weeks until this all is verified. And then you have to sit together again. Okay, now you're verified. Now you have to make a transaction, a bank transaction. Wait until it's there. Usually it takes at least 1 day, and then you have to log in again, and then you have the money there, and then you can change it manually, exchange it to Bitcoin. Cool, you have Bitcoin, right? No, you don't, because it's still on the exchange. So you need to create a wallet then, that's a different app. And then you have to kind of download or withdraw the Bitcoin to your wallet. Mm-hmm. But there you have another password again to manage. And then you have a private key that it also needs explanation. So this is really, if you're very fast, this is a 1 week process. Sometimes it's a 2 week process. Right. And so I did that with a couple of friends and I was like, this cannot be the solution. We need to make this easier. So I was looking for a solution also for myself, but also to refer to other people that, and I didn't find a solution back then. So I was like, there's probably a potential. We probably need to start something. And this is, now we are here 2 years later, where we finally have released this app that we dreamed of. Yeah.
Nice. So you basically solved the problem of your own, but also of your friends. And please tell me more about how you specifically solved that problem. Like, what do you do differently with Relai to solve all these different pain points that you just talked about?
Yeah. So basically, this 2 week process, we can reduce it to 1 minute. In that we found a solution or a setup that does not require any of this. It doesn't require registering an account and all this KYC, AML checking and verifying that all of the others do. How are we doing this? It's basically we replicate the physical Bitcoin ATM model. So if you have a Bitcoin ATM, for example, at SBB, the machines there, they sell Bitcoin as well. You can go there, you put, let's say, $50 in, and then you get these $50 out in a Bitcoin paper wallet. So you get Bitcoin for it. And then you walk away. It takes you 1 minute. You don't have to create an account. You don't have to get verified and all of this. And we basically do the same thing, but digital, in form of an app. How can we do that? We never touch, in any point of the process, we never touch the user's money. So that makes us that helps us not to be a bank. We're not an asset manager. You know, we're not in this whole financial market regulatory environment. And that's why we can do this up to a certain amount, which is $5,000 per day per person, and 100,000 a year.
Okay.
So these are the like official AML thresholds for a spot money exchange business, and that's where we are. But we don't have to have a license with FINMA or with self-regulatory organizations or anything. So
how can you actually control these thresholds if people don't have to create an account with your app?
in the background, there is kind of like an account. So there is like a user profile where you can track all the activity that a user does. And this user profile is very simple. It's the combination or the connection of the user's IBAN. So the user has to put in the IBAN where he will send the money.
Right.
And then this connection to its Bitcoin address that we create for him.
Got it.
So we don't know who the user is, but we know, which user has done which activity, and so you can measure the amounts. And once the amounts are reached, they cannot do more.
Makes sense. Perfect. Let's also talk a bit more about your team. You're two co-founders in total. What experience does your team bring to the table to actually, build and also execute and scale this app?
Yeah. So technically, we are 4 co-founders that are now founding the AG, but 2 is really, the 2 of us are in the core team. So the 2 in the core team, 4 co-founders, like just the 2 plus 2, but they're more business angel and advisor. And then we have, I think it's now 4 or even 5 advisors, and then we have more business angels. So the extended team is quite recent. It's quite big. It's around 10 people, but the core team is really the 2 of us. It's Adem Bilican, the CTO, and myself, the CEO. I'm looking, for after the business stuff. So I have a background in business administration and psychology. So I started studying psychology at the University of Bern, and then I did an MBA also at the University of Bern. And then I worked in banking a little bit at Raiffeisen Bank while I was studying my bachelor. And after that, I started off in management consulting, where I spent my last 4.5 years doing management consulting. And then, started my own consulting business, and now starting Relai. And Adem Bilican is a phenomenal programmer. He is really an all-rounder. He has worked independently on many different projects in blockchain, but also in other areas. And he's very focused on mobile development as well. But he's a huge all-rounder. So he has experience and skills from UX, UI, design, front end, back end, and even all these nitty-gritty blockchain and API integration things. Right. So he's a very all-round profile. He's actually studied bioinformatics also at the University of Bern, and he even did a PhD. Before then making himself professionally independent to work on different projects, which he does up until now.
Let's also talk a bit more about milestones. You recently launched your app, so I guess that this is a big milestone. Are there any other milestones or also the launch that you can talk about and share a bit more insights on that?
Yeah, that's obviously the biggest milestone we have achieved so far. So we launched at 1st of July. We started developing 1st of April, and really the goal was to get from no line of code 1st of April to the launch 1st of July, and exactly 1st of July we've launched. So this was already a huge milestone.
It's also a good speed, I would say.
Yeah, it's a huge speed. Yeah. Well, obviously, we've worked on the whole concept and, the technical research, legal stuff that we had, a business plan, and we did a lot of competitions, and we did fundraising that was not very, very successful. But anyway, we did a lot in these 1.5 years, so we really knew what to do. 1st of April, and then it went really, really fast. Yes. And then 1st of April, 1st of July, we did this kind of quiet, soft launch. We didn't really tell anybody. But then the 3rd of July, and this is around about 2 weeks now, 3rd of July, we launched, and we communicated on social media and in the press and press release and everything like that. And yeah, so far, very, very, very positively surprised. We have more than 800 app downloads right now. We have more than 50 5-star reviews on Google Play Store. We have more than 30 5-star reviews on Apple Store. We have more than $10,000 invested in very small amounts by people. But yeah, in 2 weeks, that's a big, for us, a big achievement. So these are kind of the edge numbers that we can share. And yeah, very, very proud of that.
So looking forward to how that journey continues. Let's also look at the competitive landscape. There are other options to trade Bitcoin and crypto in general. So how does the competitive landscape look like from your perspective? And what do you do differently with Relai?
Yeah, so obviously there, like mushrooms, you see a lot of apps and exchanges and providers that enable people to also quite easily buy and sell Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. That's true. So there's a huge list of competitors. Absolutely. What are we doing differently? Like what they all have in common is this painful onboarding process. So what we are doing differently, we're just taking this away. If you want to refer a Bitcoin app to a friend, and that was the first intention, that's what we wanted to solve, then you cannot do this, in like an elevator pitch framework. You really need to sit down and help him or explain him, or like he has to go through this whole onboarding process.
Right.
Not with us. With us, it's really, you can, if you see a guy in an elevator and you talk about Bitcoin, and within 10 seconds, you can just say, download the app and get started. And he's getting started before you get out of the elevator. So that's really the thing that probably differentiates us most. Also that, we are the most privacy focused, I would say. So if you want to exchange fiat currency to cryptocurrency, then there's no solution that's more private than us, because we don't know our customers.
No.
All others, they know our customers. We also do not have access to the funds in any point in time. That's a big security advantage that we have. You hear a lot, other exchanges are hacked, people lose their money. That basically cannot really happen in our framework. At least if it happens, it's kind of the fault of the user, because the user holds his Bitcoin, and if he forgets the private key, then he loses his money, which is obviously a pity. But if we get hacked, people don't lose money.
Nothing happens, basically.
Yeah. Right.
Got it. By being so detached from all the processes and not really knowing your clients, how do you actually make money then?
So on every activity, every trade that they do, we take a cut. So we take a 3% transaction fee. That's an all-inclusive fee. So for some people it might sound, that's quite high, because others really have almost zero fee. They have other business models. We just think that for the convenience and for the privacy that we deliver, people are willing to pay this, and we kind of validated this hypothesis in the first couple of weeks now, or for first 2 weeks that we are live. People are really willing to pay. So and why is it an all-inclusive fee? It's not the 3% don't go to us. The whole 3%. It's 1.8% that goes to us. This is our service fee for us to continue maintaining, developing the product. Right. But there's this 1.2% fee that goes to the broker. We are directly linked via API to the broker that does the actual exchange. And Again, there's included their brokerage fee for their service and the spread, which a lot of people forget. If you use a zero fee service, then you don't pay a transaction fee, but you pay a spread. So you don't get the best price. Right. That's already included in our fee, and also the Bitcoin network fee that can vary. If the network is congested, then you pay a higher fee for the Bitcoin transaction. That's also included. So really, these 3% is all inclusive.
Let's also look at the toughest challenge that you faced so far. Looking back, I know you've been only live for 2 weeks, but still, you've been thinking about this concept and building and working on it for quite a time now. Mm-hmm. What was the toughest challenge that you had to overcome over the past months?
So it's explained in one word. It was really fundraising. So we really had a very hard time getting our first business angels.
Why was that so difficult?
One point was certainly that a lot of them don't understand Bitcoin, and as usually investors don't invest in something they don't understand. And to explain it to them is very, very hard. And in the end, they don't really, it takes so much time. Bitcoin is not explained in a couple of words or within, a couple of drinks even. It takes a lot of time.
Many drinks.
Many drinks.
And then you will probably be drunk and you don't remember anyway.
Exactly. So that was the biggest problem. And actually, the first business angel that then invested in us, he I think until this point, he doesn't understand Bitcoin. But he just believed in that. He just saw that there's a market potential. And a lot of people want to invest in Bitcoin, but can't, or they don't because it's too painful right now. And he loved the team and the energy that we had. And that's why he invested. But he actually, up until now, he didn't. So, but that was the solution. So the biggest problem was really fundraising. And I remember after, we had this first kind of hype and people around us, oh yeah, it's very cool. You should pursue this idea. I would use it, So we had this energy from our community, and then we had a prototype. We programmed a prototype, and we had it already. We had a pitch deck. We had everything basically we need. And then we went out with this enthusiasm to talk to almost probably 100 business angels. Nobody wanted to invest. And we were like, what? And so I was really at the point where, and I mean, I can also not work for free all the time, and my co-founder, he has a baby, he's a little bit older than me. He has responsibilities. We cannot just work free. So this was then really the point where we really were quite down, So we were like, if we don't get money in the next 1 or 2 months, we just need to stop. And I was already looking, for a job. Even I was that desperate.
True.
But yeah, finally, luckily we made it. So this first business angel was very, very important. He also brought in then the second business angel, and then I felt like from every next business angel was quite easy to get then, but the first was really very, very hard.
Yeah, that's always the case, I would say. You need someone to lead the way, basically. Now, you're also fundraising at the moment, or almost like already probably closing it or getting close to closing it. Can you talk a bit more about how much money you are actually looking for and what you will do with that money after you raise the funds?
Yeah, absolutely. We only raised 20,000, which is not a lot so far. With this, we came that far already. And now we really need more money. We need 200,000 in this round in order that we can finance a 1 year runway for the team. And we have, so how we think about it is we want to first nail the product and then scale the product. So first nail it, then scale it. And in the remainder of this year, we really want to invest more effort and money into product development, specifically UX, UI. If you download the app and you look at it, you think, oh, it's very nice. It is nice. It is good work. But it's not no professional UX UI designer has designed this app yet. So we really want to make a big step there, that we have a very professional design in UX UI. And then also more into the backend stuff. We have a lot of improvements still to do in the whole Bitcoin, how we handle the Bitcoin transactions, and we can get cheaper there if we can optimize a lot technically there still. So we really want to achieve a robust product that works very fluently and solid. And for that we need probably a good part of this 200K.
Right.
And then beginning of next year we really want to scale it, and for that obviously you need a lot of money as well. So really do marketing and think about expansion. We now live in the whole Europe already, but we obviously want to expand in other countries, and that's gonna, especially marketing wise, it's gonna take a lot of money.
Do you have any certain milestones that you want to achieve with that money that you raise at the moment, these 200K?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interestingly, the milestone that we have in the business plan was 1,000 users by the end of this year, and now we're at 800 app downloads. So it's after 2 weeks, so it goes very fast. Hopefully but that's actually the milestone that we still want to have. So 1,000 users, active users by the end of this year. And as I said, like the completion really of the product, so that the product really don't have any bugs anymore and is really solid. Right. That's like the next milestone until the end of this year. And then in the next year, the goal was to have 10,000 customers.
Great, 10x growth.
10x growth. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So to finish this episode, we also have some rapid fire questions for you, because we want to also know a bit more about Julian as a person. The first question is, what was your job as a teenager? Your summer job?
I had several. One time I was working in a chicken manufactory.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was packaging the whole chicken, parts of the chicken, chicken wings or chicken whatever.
I guess that's a pretty intense job to have.
Yeah. And now I'm actually vegetarian. Maybe this.
Now I know why.
Yeah, maybe it's from that. Yeah. No, it was not a very cool job, but it was well paid.
Good point. Yeah.
I was like 15 years old or so. I could use the money. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what are you most proud of in your life?
I'm very proud of kind of the personality that I could shape. I think it wasn't always like that, but I think now I'm very disciplined and I have a good self-esteem and I have a good feeling for other people and I have some empathy, and I think I'm proud that I'm kind of a good person, and I think a lot of that is if you want to relate this to an event that I'm proud of. Mm-hmm. I'm quite proud of walking the 100 kilometer kind of march that I did in the army. In the army in Switzerland, obviously, Swiss people know that if you graduate to an officer, then you have to walk this 100 kilometer, and it's quite. You have package and everything, so right. It's quite intense. And I achieved it with the group of other officers there, and it took us 25 hours, and it was very, very hard, and my feet were like dead. Sure. A lot of pain, a lot of emotions. So this I'm really, really proud of, because I think that was an event that also helped shape this character that I am now.
Absolutely. And the last question for you today, what's a surprising fact that people don't know about you?
It surprises some people. My teenage years were quite rough. So I, for example, I started smoking when I was 13 years old. I did some things that I did some small criminal things and so on. So I drank alcohol way before I was 16, and so I did kind of a deviation. I had quite a rough deviation phase before I came to the right path again. So that surprises a lot of people. If they get to know me, they think, it's a very, kind guy and everything, which I am. But there was times it was a little bit different.
What got you back on the right path?
Interesting question. I don't know. I think actually my girlfriend that I met in these times, like when I was 17, I met the girlfriend that I still have now, and she helped a lot to get me straight.
Awesome. I think that's a great point to end this conversation. Julian, thank you so much for taking the time, and we wish you all the best with Relai, and are curious to see how many more Bitcoin trades that you will make possible in the future.
Thank you very, very much, Sylvan.
Before you go, just a quick word from our sponsor.
Today's episode was brought to you by SBB Startup. The Swiss Railways recently launched their own startup program. If you think that your company or your idea is a good fit to the Swiss Railways, get in touch with them at sbbstartup.com.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Stay connected with the Swisspreneur community through our LinkedIn and Instagram profiles. Make sure to subscribe to our show on whatever podcast platform you're using. See you next week for a brand new episode of the Swisspreneur Show.